Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. It's been a hot minute since I did a Days of Our Lives review, but watching the cliffhanger, which I gotta sit there and say, I watched all four of the soaps, and although I don't sit there and think that this was the best out of all four, I would definitely sit there and say it had the best cliffhanger out of all four of them, which prompted me to sit there and do this review. Um, So can we all just agree that Lucas is an idiot? Can we just come to terms with the fact that Lucas is an idiot? I didn't like him since day one. I don't hate him, but I didn't like him since day one. And I remember one of my first reviews I did, and this is when Lucas just storms in Nicole's place to look for Allie. And I'm just like, who the hell does this guy think he is? And I got so much pushback. People were just like, well, that's her father. He has a right to sit there and know what's going on. I'm just like, are you idiots just forgetting the fact that he just bars his way on through Nicole's place like he owned the joint? Ah, man. My first Days of Our Last reviews. Ooh, did I get so much pushback? See, now I can laugh about that. Any pushback I get now, I just laugh about that. But I remember when I first started doing it, I was like, wow, wow, that's okay. I got so much smoke for that. I got so much smoke for the whole Allie thing, which I stand by every single word I said. Go back to watch my earlier reviews and you know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, Lucas is an idiot. So he's going downstairs to get something to eat because he feels like he's cooped up in. Kate comes in, she's armed. She's like, yo, what's going on? She sees Lucas. She's like, yo, are you nuts? Like, what are you doing? Anyone could have saw you. He's all like, oh, I'm cooped up. I just going to give me something to eat. I was hungry. I was like, bro, you should have just took some snacks upstairs and just been happy, right? Harris comes in. Harris like, what the hell are you doing? Anyone could have saw you. He gets him back upstairs. He pretty much is like, your whole talking to reporters things, talking to reporters was not a good look. And Kate's like, what? And, he still stands by what he says with that stupid, whoa, I had to sit there and do something. You guys aren't really doing anything. And I'm like, bro, you're not even supposed to be out of jail. Like, that was like a super duper special favor that he had to sit there and do to get you out of jail temporarily. And no one knows who you are. Like, your life was screwed when you was in jail. Okay? He took you out of jail and tried to keep you someplace safe. And your dumbass decided to talk to the cops and do all this, that, and the third. And now you downstairs just eating like, oh, just a little cooped up. So, towards the end, somebody comes in Brady Pub and starts, firing a couple rounds. I didn't really give a damn about the story with Julie telling her story to Chaz's kids. Who was Charlotte and Thomas? I didn't care about that story whatsoever. I honestly tell you the truth, the entire time, most of this episode I was playing Tetris. Um, but somebody comes in towards the end and decides to light the place on fire. Now, apparently, this was a promo that happened last year in Days of Our Lives on the promo that I completely forgot. Yeah, this person comes in and is ready to burn down the place. Now, I'm assuming that has a lot to do with Clyde sending a message um, to to Chad and Everett because he was like, "Yo, listen, y'all both gonna get it pretty much." So that goes on. Xander is refusing to have love in the afternoon with Sarah and decides to go out on a run. Um, Sarah's thirsty as. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't even understand why Xander had it. It's like Xander just had to take off his shirt for like no reason. I mean, I know it's a soap opera, but they always find really stupid, dumb, ridiculous reasons to have these men sit there and take off their shirts. Um, Whatever. Anyway, he goes out on that run, and he forgets his phone. Sarah's like, "What do you mean this is done?" Like, cause she sees the message. Now, Alex, again, this is another scene that I didn't really care too much about, except for the fact that Alex doesn't really understand what it's like what it's like dating and being with somebody who is an addict. He gets all super jealous that Brady was there at a meeting. Like, bro, do you not understand that your cousin is also an addict? Like, what was he doing there? I don't know. Maybe going to a meeting. And then, she's like, I want to sit and go to a meeting later on today. He was like, another one? Like, you really don't get it, do you? It's not a, it's an everyday struggle. It's an every hour struggle for some people. It's an every minute struggle for some people. So he really just shows how clueless and unequipped he is as far as dealing with Teresa, just like Maggie said. Anyway, they talk a little bit, and then he winds up leaving or going in the other room or something. And when Teresa goes to put his jacket away, the ring falls out. Um, again, I've said this ad nauseum that I really don't care about any scene with Teresa. And now it's like, you want to marry Gwen Risa? Like, if it was played by Jennifer, whatever her name is, then I'd be like, okay, fine. But all these scenes just seem to fall flat at this point. But it seems like we're just kind of stuck with this version. So that's just awful. Um, Trip apologizes to Ava about how he reacted with Stefan and everything like that. So he wants to sit there and kind of smooth things over. Um, and of course, Harris. When Harris leaves the pub, and I guess he thought that he got a text from Ava. So he shows up there, and somebody with shoes on shoots him. Now we can all sit there and say it could be Xander, it could be anyone. We don't know. I don't think it's Xander because I think that he did sit there and say he was committed to being a better person, a better father, and better person for Sarah and his daughter. So I don't think that he did it. Could have. Could have also been the one that was popping all shots and the Brady plot with Lucas. I don't know if he actually shot Lucas, but I guess time will tell. But I was looking there wondering, I was like, man, I know because this thing, we all knew that Harris was going to get shot. We saw it in the promos, and if you didn't see it in the promos, well, at this point, Steve is going back to General Hospital. I don't want to sit there and say going back home because, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve was first on Days of Our Lives before he went to General Hospital. Anyway, people keep saying that Steve's coming home or whatever, so we knew what was up. It was only a matter of time. The question is, are they going to kill him off? They're going to kill off the character, or just going to put him in a coma or whatever, and just kind of shelve him and maybe keep the character, have him recast later on down the line or whatever. Who knows? Honestly, to tell you the truth, he was pretty much just Jason in Days of Our Lives. If we're going to be honest, granted, acting wise, some people can change around a character completely, some people can't, but he always just gave off more of a Jason vibe than anything else. So it's like Jason's leaving Days of Our Lives to go back to General Hospital. That's how I look at it. Yeah, I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else that wound up happening. But if I missed anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, Days of Our Lives, Born and Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital. And if you want to sit there and talk about the whole Ariana Zucker situation that's still unfolding, because the whole thing is just crazy to me. I'll sit there and say this much. I will sit there and say this much. Let's just wait until we see how everything unfolds. Because the way I look at this whole thing is the company they're acting like they didn't know what Allah was doing. And he'd been reported for a while before they decide to do anything. So for them to sit there and try to act like, oh, well, they bring it to our attentions, we did it a thorough investigation. It's like this guy was being reported for a while before they decided to do anything, right? Then you sit there and look at the unfiring part, right? I mean well, not unfiring part, the unjustifiable firing or unjustly fired. And there's where this is where it gets a little hairy, right? Because they're saying that you know, they had a negotiation with her, they offered her more money and stuff like that, and she turned it down. Maybe she wanted more money. You know, this is how these negotiations do work, right? She turned it down and they couldn't come to an understanding, so she wound up leaving. So let's just sit there and say, for the sake of argument, that that was the case, right? That was the case. Her contract was up for renewal, and they didn't work anything out. So they wanted like, hey, listen, this isn't going to work for us, so you got to sit there and go. If that's the case, then it's not really so much as in um they fired her without cause or anything like that. It's just that's how these things work. I don't understand them since they're really trying to defend a large part. That's the part where I feel like it's a little out of pocket. But if she snitched saying she got unjustifiably fired and negotiations didn't work out, then that could be on her. Again, we don't know everything that's going on, and the problem, and the problem with a situation like this is that people tend to go on their feelings, right? People always tend to go on their feelings. The first thing that's to say is that we support you, da 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 da, and Days of Our Lives not going to be the same without you. Well, the thing is, negotiations sometimes don't work, and unfortunately, that's just it is what it is. You know, so try to make it seem like in that case, the company is just this big bad wolf or whatever, and they did her so dirty. It's like, y'all don't know what's going on. Just because she might be your favorite character, you may like her as a person, it just doesn't always translate well to how it worked out in the business world. But to sit there and side with her, and she might have been sitting there being greedy, is just insane. But again, this is how people work. They operate on their feelings instead of sitting there going off of facts or waiting to things actually truly unfold. And I think that's what I've been seeing in social media. I saw a bit of her posts, and people are on their side as far as the company is concerned, as opposed to just waiting what's going on. And I also feel like these two things are different, right? Like she's suing Days of Our Lives Fund for firing her, but also for what Alar did, right? And this is again where it gets kind of tricky, right? Because I look at this, and I could be wrong, I look at this, and if you're suing because they fired you, but you're also suing for the harassment part, then why are you bringing up this lawsuit now, right? This has been going on when you was on the show and everyone else was going through it. Why did you not sit there and file a lawsuit then? Why do it now, right? Because honestly, tell you the truth, it looks a little sus, right? You bring up the lawsuit with him now after you got fired or after the negotiations didn't work out. Now, I'm not saying that you know um, there's no retribution should be done, because he should have been fired long time ago. When somebody says something, they should just did an investigation instead of waiting that over 25 something people decide to say something. But again, why bring up the lawsuit now? Because you know what it looks like to me? It looks like it didn't work out. They fired you because you couldn't come to a settlement, and now it's like, oh, let me sit there and try to get some money. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm saying I can see how it would appear. That's why I decided to sit there and talk about this in this review. As far as let's just wait to sit there and see how everything unfolds. let's just wait to sit there and see what kind of evidence unfolds before we start sitting there taking sides between the company that let her go, or was it unjustly, fired. Let's just wait and see before we start getting our feelings, because let's wait till the facts come out. Facts over feelings, people. That's what I'm sitting there saying. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.